Whew. Okay.
The essence.
How long do I have to answer this question? We are architects. We have the capability of planning something that doesn't happen by randomness of casualties. And what can be called as refuse of straight lines, 90 degrees corner, and the sentence of we have 360 degrees, why stick just to one? It's clearly provocative, right? I mean, not surprising coming from here. Up to the age of 18, I was still thinking about doing something else than architecture. And for example, during the academy, like a turning point was discovering ZAHA HADID. It may sound an afterthought, but it's not. She truly broke any, for me personally, any previous ideas of what architecture was meant to be. And one key is to think about mobility of people, is thinking about how a city can be designed for it to be livable and to work with a minimum possible carbon footprint and with a more efficient organization of mobility.
Ladies and gentlemen, so we have a special guest for today's Legile Afacerilor podcast. We speak in English because the name is an international name. It's Italian one, raised and educated in the English style. It's a man who builds not just projects. He carries on his shoulder an important name from top 10 architectural firms in the world. Maurizio, buongiorno.
Good morning.
Maurizio MEOSSI,
Alexander.
Associate Director, ZAHA HADID, to split the secret.
Good morning, Alexander, and thanks for inviting me here.
Thank
for
you.
having me here. It's my pleasure.
It's our pleasure to have you here in Bucharest in one of the beautiful projects in here, the Hb Avenue. Thank you for this, for our guests. I want to start the discussion from this, that God is the architect of the world. What do you think about it?
Well, there are alternative ways of looking at things, right? So I may partially disagree with the idea of one God being the overall designer.
Please do that.
While, which open, if you want, to an interesting alternative. I mean, I'm more keen on that part of human being that believes that there is a component of an interesting component of randomness for the things to have evolved and shaped in the way that we see them today, while us as human beings, we are gifted, which opens, if you want, an interesting alternative line of thought with regards of whoever gifted us, but let's leave it aside. Gifted by the capability of reasoning and applying a logic towards things. Hence, we are architects. We have the capability of planning something that doesn't happen by randomness of casualties.
He's a storyteller.
I agree with this.
And about the storyteller, I want to start your story. You were born in a beautiful city.
I was, It's called
Yes.
Siena, in the center of Tuscany. Yes.
How much of that city is in your DNA right now, in your activity? Do you keep its authenticity and inspiration for what you create, and more than that, for the way you are leading your team?
Okay. Well, it is indeed in my DNA. I mean, from the perspective of Siena is a medieval city. It really grows up organically in a quite interesting topography of hills And definitely that is something that, belongs to me even though I may not even think about it. But for example, I grew up with with a perception of space that was always somehow enclosed by shapes, being natural hills or being buildings and palazzi along the narrow lanes, narrow streets of the medieval center of Siena, or also the small village where I actually grew up, because I was just born in Siena. I grew up on the countryside, which in a way is, to me, the perception of space is always in a way designed and shaped by something. And I believe as an architect the architect at the end of the day has to think with this assumption, right? You
Right.
Space per se is an empty box,
Right.
but the perception of the space happens because of the shapes that defines it.
The 60 degrees, why stick to one? I'm sure you remember it. It's a ZAHA HADID.
Yes, of course.
Quote,
Yes, of course.
I want to explain it. I was curious what is your perception of it, and I want to ask ZAHA HADID, the character, one of the principal of what is one of the principle of this quote?
Well, I think that sentence of Zaha has a certain amount of irony within it, for sure. Her architecture since the beginning was always somehow seeking out for a sort of geometrical exploration and what can be called as refuse of straight lines, 90 degrees corner, and the sentence of we have 360 degrees, why stick just to one? It's clearly provocative, right? Not surprising coming from here. The way that I like to read that sentence is that 90 degrees is a direct product of human rationale, right? We see the world, although the world is not flat, despite some interesting and funny thinking, is a curve, but we perceive as an horizontal surface, and we stand in this horizontal surface vertically.
Yeah.
And is the most obvious and logical way for a load to be transferred to the ground, right? The ground that supported us. But on the other hand, if you look at the natural world, if you look at the tree is never 90 degrees on the ground, right?
Yeah.
So, the organic world doesn't necessarily has to be perpendicular in order to work.
Right.
So I think that the key of that statement is precisely this one. Ancient construction, because of the basic technology they were rely upon, they had to, the most logical things was the vertical columns with the horizontal elements. But I think that a better and clear understanding of natural forms, for example, with a parallel evolution of construction techniques and methods of calculation, has brought to even a better structural efficiency, forgetting and moving ahead from the pure system, the simpler system of having just vertical and horizontal elements.
You create projects, but you create memories also. What part of this profession, let me say it, changed your perspective about the world?
It would be difficult to identify a single moment, because it's been like a slow, allow me to call it evolution, meaning up to the age of 18, I was still thinking about doing something else than architecture. Actually, my background has nothing to do with architecture, nor with construction or engineering, because my mother was a pharmacist. So in a way, I grew up with this idea that, allow me to say, it was probably the most logical thing to do and also the easiest thing to do. but I also remember when I was a kid, my dad was asking me to help. I don't know, just to organize the delivery of the different medicines, and I was organizing them as buildings with streets, etc., even without thinking about it. Then I always loved drafting and designing, and so at some point, along the way, I discovered music. I started playing. So although I thought that I had quite a good, I've always been pretty good in math, so I thought that I was more keen towards scientific studies. I really all of a sudden thought that maybe architecture could be the thing that is mixing everything in the right measure. During the academic studies, it's been a constant evolution, and I keep learning. That's the beauty of this profession. Honestly, it's difficult for me to take a snapshot and say, okay, that has been the turning point. I don't know. During university, I studied. You mentioned that I completed my study in London, but I got my architectural degree in Florence. And for example, during the academy, like a turning point was discovering ZAHA HADID. She truly broke any, for me personally, any previous ideas of what architecture was meant to be. I don't know, I also saw it like I found something also musical within her way of designing and her painting. It was like a meeting point of the things that really I always loved until then. But then also, going to study in London was another breaking point. Starting to work for ZAHA was another breaking point. And it keeps going. I keep having, which makes me think probably I'm not yet old, which is good, despite my age. And I keep having this inspirational moment and this change of, not change of direction, but it's more a progressive and constant, allow me to call it evolution, hopefully. Evolution.
Yeah. Maybe that's the key of evolution, the need to be hungry all the time. ZAHA, I want to know your perspective on her as a human, not as an architect.
Form of inspiration for, even without thinking about the persona, but just looking at their paintings and their architecture. Again, I repeat myself, but it was really okay. So it's not only this, but there's a lot more here, a lot more. And in terms of human being, of person, she was amazing. She was she had a gigantic aura. It's really one of the few person that I've met in person for which you can really talk about. It's not only the physical entity, it's the aura, really.
Yes.
She was absolutely inspirational and also a funny person, also a pretty nice person. I remember once I was in the office just since a few months, we were working on a competition, so working crazy hours at night, etc. She entered the studio, it was probably, 8 p.m. And she said, okay, what are you guys doing, still working? Stop, let's go, I'm gonna take you out for dinner. We were like a small team, like 10 people. Okay, and the funny thing is that it was the 14th of February. Some Valentine's, so I started text messaging my friends, okay, I'm going out for dinner for some Valentine with ZAHA. That was great. But she was really, she had the capability of being extremely funny. Yes, indeed.
Right now, a team of multicultural people. How hard is to keep the balance between the creativity and different ideas, because the cultural legacy comes up with some different thoughts. How you can put them all together and create new ideas that fit in just in the right project, and they express something bigger.
I believe this is by definition in the DNA of the office, because again, we are talking about a UK-based office founded by a person coming from Baghdad, led now by a German architect, that is Patrick Schumacher, and with the idea of multicultural personalities and people is within the definition per se of the office, for the way that I see. There's a beauty in it. There's a complexity, a difficulty, but that offers a gigantic range of possibilities.
The space, the people, the nature, sustainability. Tell me a little bit about the future of the architecture.
If I knew the future, probably I wouldn't be able to be an architect.
Based on what we know right now, and the moves we can make on the table.
We have to accept that, although that's interesting, because by definition, to design means to predefine something that will happen in the future. So obviously, it's part of our profession to think the future, right? To make it happen.
Yes.
Nowadays, of course, there are big differences even with just 15 or 20 years ago. Now, sustainability is clearly the main point that we have to bear in mind while designing a building, while designing a city even more. While approaching cities right now, I think what is really one key is to think about mobility of people, is thinking about how a city can be designed for it to be livable and to work with a minimum possible carbon footprint and with a more efficient organization of mobility.
Some of us were used with the traffic, but it's not okay to get used with it.
Absolutely. Because, you made a good point. Sometimes you get used to something.
Yes.
You don't realize that things could be a lot better. And by better, is a better and more efficient use of your time, because at the end, this is what we're talking about, right? Even experience is based on time, is a fourth dimension, if you want, which is the beauty of a physical architecture, where you can have an experience of the space that happens through time, right? One eighth of your time closed in a car, moving around, while you could spend those 3 hours doing anything better, walking around, reading a book, or listening to music, or painting, for example.
Right, you're right. But to ask you something, I think, in my opinion, because nature occupies a special place in my life. People that are building are trying to bring the nature in their projects. More green, more plants, more open spaces that breathe. What do you think about it? In the last years, the projects are more breathable. They are trying to respect nature and to give us a taking back in time to our roots. It's an important thing. I want to ask for your opinion.
Well, finally we understood that it was important to have trees around, right? It took a while. A city that gives the possibility of better living your time is more sustainable.
Right.
You don't consume the person with unbreathable air, right? So finally we are getting there.
Do you have access to information, to some experiments? You can see the macro paint of the world. I'm saying this because smaller studios, they have a project, they work on it, but you can test some materials, some ideas, this is one of the differences. Of course, we are talking about different budgets and so on.
Okay, that's a nice question. I believe something that we are developing even internally in the company, and is again strongly related to sustainability. For example, what are the possibilities of in terms of 3D printing materials, 3D printing concretes, and for example, a study that we have done, that we have made a few years ago, sort of keep going, is we designed a bridge, a pedestrian bridge that was all composed by elements 3D printed out of concrete, but in a way that it was possible then to smash and demolish it and rebuild it again.
Okay.
Reprint it from the same material. So in a way is a fully organic approach, if you want, because material numbers of atoms is still the same that it was millions of years ago. It's a way that they reassemble together with different creating new and different molecular organization that makes things different, while we have this very bad historical background in which we think that something is created, is used, is consumed, and then is just thrown away. But away doesn't exist, it's still in this planet. So, recycling, reusing material is, I believe, is a great field of research, and it can open a lot of possibilities. I believe we are still at the beginning. Hopefully, we are still at the beginning. So,
technology helps a lot. Right. We are close to the end of this amazing podcast. I want to know in this moment what inspires you, and to think of, I will be gentle, 3 words that define architecture in your perspective. What architecture means to you in 3 words?
Okay.
The essence.
How long do I have to answer this question? The architect is, our role is to conceive and to think about something that is yet to happen, and once it will happen, it will be shaping in a way communities and people. So the second word is definitely community of human beings. It's not a word, but it's a concept.
Yeah.
Definitely. And the third is beauty.
Beauty. That's amazing.
Hopefully.
Maurizio, thank you very much for your presence. Thank you for building a better world for us. And I cannot wait to see your big and important project, but still with an important touch of humanity and beauty. So, future, community, and beauty.
Thank you, Alexandra, for the inspiring conversation, and it was really my pleasure.
That's it.